Lane and Scott Harris here, Cuisineist Confidential, and we are in Las Vegas.
At Lake Jacqueline.
Lake Jacqueline, and the shores at the beautiful, brand new Americana, and it's been winning awards left and right. And what else can I say? It's a beautiful day here in Las Vegas.
That's right. And there aren't that many places in Las Vegas where you can sit on the lake.
That's right.
This is a rare place, and they're really knocking it out of the ballpark with the food, the ambiance, and this is the place to be in the spring.
The place to be in the spring. So we have a very special guest joining us today. You need to stay tuned for that one. He's iconic. He's a legend. He's a mentor. So stay tuned. Cheers. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Here we are.
We have a special guest
Americana.
here. Americana.
That's right.
Yes, thank you.
With John Curtas. John Curtas to us. You have had a radio show. You're a lawyer. You're an author. You're a TV host. You're a world traveler, a wine expert. You're
What
like
haven't
everything,
you done?
and you're
I've
a
been
good
everything.
mentor.
I've been everything, including an unfaithful husband.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, but no, those days are behind me now.
That's a good thing.
Behind me. That was the old me.
I bet your wife would appreciate to hear
My
that.
current wife loves me very much,
there
and
you
that's
go.
not a problem.
There you go. So we know each other for a long time.
Yes, we have.
We have.
Yes, we have.
And you're kind of a mentor to us. Cause when did you start writing in Las Vegas? I mean, doing what you're doing.
I started in 1995.
Okay.
October 1995, I officially started going on the radio with KNPR, Nevada Public Radio,
Right.
For Food for Thought. That started October
Right.
1995.
I remember that.
No one else was doing it back then but me.
No, there you go. So you were we have all these other people now here in town, but
Oh,
you
yeah.
were like the pioneer of all of it.
Well, what motivated you to even want to do it?
Why did I become the Daniel Boone
Daniel Boone.
of Las Vegas Food Critic?
That's right.
How did that?
Well, as I like to say, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king.
Ah, that's a quote right there. I love that.
Yeah. So nobody
love
was
that.
doing it in 1995.
Right.
We had two papers back then.
Right.
And they had writers who would occasionally file little stories
Sure,
of
sure.
restaurants. But in '95, remember, that was when we were on the cusp of this gigantic restaurant revolution. I mean, Spago was just about 1.5 years, 2 years old.
Right.
'94 brought Charlie Trotter, Martin Miller into town, and Emeril Lagasse came in 1995 with MGM. And Wolf was already here. So
Right.
things were really starting to bubble up.
Sure.
And I looked around and I said, nobody here in town is doing anything with food, not really paying attention to the way they should be.
Right.
So I've been a foodie.
That switch
Yeah.
from the 99-cent cocktail and buffet
Right.
mentality.
And
now you have some of the best
prime
chefs.
rib.
Yeah.
And the prime rib.
Bad prime rib and lots of it. That's
There
all
you
we were
go.
known for.
And
Bad
lots
prime
of
rib
it,
and
too.
lots of
And now we have
Lots of
this
it.
big shift, this change, and you're like, hey, we need to.
Yeah, somebody needs to
Talk
pay
about
attention. And I'd been living back at the time, before 1990, I lived back in Connecticut, just about an hour out of New York, where my family's from. And so I was there in the 80s in New York City, right outside of New York City. And I was in New York City all the time. I was a lawyer already, and I thought I could write pretty well.
Right.
So I put it out there to all the different media in Las Vegas. And NPR, God bless KNPR, they put me on the air.
There you
And
go.
then I had a 15-year run
Yeah.
as the KNPR restaurant
That's
guy. So that ended about 2010, 2011. But since then, that's led to TV
Sure.
and the blog and the Eating Las Vegas book. So it all began with the radio.
There you go. So that's how it all started. So you worked, reversing now, you worked in the restaurant business, going to law school, was
Yeah,
it? Right?
I was the world's worst waiter, and I was a bar back, and then I was the world's worst bartender because I wanted to just talk to everybody.
Right.
You know, the good ones actually churn out the plates and churn out the drinks. I'm like, I'll make you two the mimosas and stand there
And
talking
you're
to you.
hanging out.
I'll be hanging out with you
What's
for
going on?
8 or 9 minutes while everybody else is waiting for their drink. You know, so I was terrible at it, but I was also a dishwasher.
So you've done everything.
But I did everything briefly and badly.
Okay.
But enough to know how much hard work goes in
Right.
to running the restaurant.
So that's a
Any
good
restaurant.
background.
Yeah.
So I just to ask you, there are two terms floated around in our industry. Like the both of us, we do this together. There are food critics and there are food writers. Do you think they're one and the same, or do you think there's a separation between the two?
Well, a food writer, I think all food critics can be our food writers, but I don't think all food writers are necessarily critics.
I agree.
I mean, you can be a writer. I mean, there's some beautiful writers out there who write about food and travel writers and write essays about ingredients. Michael Pollan is a food writer. He's also a writer in other ways, but he doesn't criticize restaurants at all.
Right.
Harold McGee is a food writer, but they're not a critic. A critic is more just narrower. It tends to be focused on wine or food or a restaurant, and a good one, there are not many good ones left, tries to compare the good, the bad from the mediocre, and tell you why one is worth it and one is not.
Okay. Yeah, we hear that term going around a lot, and a lot of people, like a food writer walks in, and they go, well, the food critics are here. And you go, well, maybe not necessarily.
Maybe they're not really a food critic. Yeah, they just know something about food. I mean, I consider myself more of a restaurant critic. I write about food. I write about wine, too.
Yeah, I know you do.
I write wine. I travel the urban area, and I get outlets for my wine articles. But I'm not a full-time writer about wine. What I'm really good at is going into restaurants and telling people whether it's worth spending their hard-earned money in that restaurant. That's what I think my specialty is, and I branch out occasionally into other things.
Okay, so you've said that you're looking for something delectable, elusive, and out of reach. So what are you looking for when you go into a restaurant? All those things? Something elusive, something delectable, and something out of reach.
That's a good. I think I said that. That's great.
That's an exact quote. Exact quote. You see?
Well, that's what you strive for. You're never really happy because you want, whether it's a mimosa or it's a meatball, whatever it is, you kind of, in your head, when you had so many mimosas and so many meatballs, so much lasagna or cheesecake or whatever it is, you have a perfection ideal in your head, and you're always striving for that. You want it to be perfect. You want it to be the best you've ever had. But you've done it so often that it very rarely is the best you've ever had. But unless you're always excited about, and this is a very good mimosa, by the way.
There we go.
Okay.
Cheers to the bartender today.
Is it the best mimosa in the world? Is it the most fresh squeeze with high-end champagne? No. But so I'm always seeking it. I think it's what motivates you. Once you get fat and happy and go, this is good enough, then you should stop writing. Then you're not passionate about what you're doing.
I love it.
Well, thank you for all your passion.
Thank you.
And, thanks for the mimosa.
Mimosa's looking to you. It is dirty too.
Chin chin.
We'll see you soon. Cheers.